An eventful week of European football has passed. It's unclear how, but the major English football clubs have been swept away in all competitions, from the Champions League to the Europa League. Among those having to bow out, fans might be most disappointed by Arsenal's case. Not only were they eliminated from the Champions League, but they also faced the prospect of losing the Premier League title for the second consecutive season. Despite the praises often heard about the Gunners, such as being a young team with ambition or a title contender, something still seems wrong. Yes, it's the term big club. While this label often accompanies Manchester City and Liverpool, Arsenal's status as a big club seems questionable. This was evident in how they played major matches against top opponents like Bayern Munich. The issue is quite clear, leading to the question, what is Mikel Arteta's team lacking to become a fearsome club? The term big club is difficult to explain with statistics or literary techniques. It leans into the psychological realm while still maintaining high practical reality. Take Real Madrid as a prime example. In the Champions League, they are celebrated as the tournament's kings, yet they are simply a big club in the top European competition. So what sets Real apart from Arsenal? The answer is not just different, it's vastly different. Take the recent quarterfinal second leg match as an example. Real Madrid's manner of dismissing the reigning champions, Manchester City, showed why Real is always considered formidable. City may have launched 33 shots at Real's goal, but their quality as a big club allowed Carlo Ancelotti's team to stand firm and win at Etihad Stadium in a penalty shootout. In contrast, Arsenal, as disgruntled fans have noted, seemed like a group of kids invited to tour the Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich may not have been significantly stronger than Arsenal in terms of skill, but their game psychology and mentality overwhelmed Mikel Arteta's young squad. Arsenal is undergoing changes compared to a few weeks ago. The term youthful is used less to describe them, but Arsenal's youthfulness seems to lack maturity and experience. The first thing they're missing is game composure. A successful team doesn't necessarily have to be the strongest, but they must have the bravest warriors. Unfortunately, Arsenal lacks that trait. Look at how they played against Bayern Munich. The faces, the lackluster play, and even the most promising star on the team, Saka, were enough to portray a timid and weak Arsenal. Naturally, against a club like Bayern, if you're timid, you've already raised the white flag. Before the match began, Bayern's defenders didn't struggle to mark Arsenal's wingers. Just by looking at Saka and Martinelli's faces, they knew what the players would do next. This is why the two most anticipated players ended up with average ratings in that match. Arsenal isn't just inexperienced against top clubs, they're also inexperienced in their overall approach to long-term competition. One cannot deny Arsenal's great effort. Since 2024 began, there was a time when they were praised as the most balanced team in the Premier League and in Europe. At that time, the London-based club was seen as a contender for all the titles they were competing for. Yet, the old problem resurfaced, causing Arsenal to collapse at the most critical point of the season, rendering all previous efforts meaningless. Once again, the question of Arsenal's game composure comes up, highlighting the fact that the Gunners remain like a nursery, and Mikel Arteta's players are children who refuse to grow up. A commentator on Sky Sport made a cutting remark after Arsenal's loss to Aston Villa. Children need to be taken care of, not running into places meant for adults. This statement perfectly describes Arsenal's last 2 seasons. They lack composure in critical moments. They lack the necessary experience of a team aiming for titles, or perhaps they are just too young to handle these difficult tasks. This is game composure, the element Arsenal is missing to become a truly big club. Another issue this team is facing is an excess in quantity of players, but a lack of quality. Before this season began, Emirates Stadium was rated as one of the clubs with the best squad depth in the league, and indeed, Arsenal didn't have to call up their B-team players as they had in previous seasons. They had enough players to sustain a long campaign across all competitions, but quality-wise, it seems the squad's numbers don't align with its quality. Perhaps only Saliba, Odegaard, and the 2 Arsenal goalkeepers have been consistent throughout the season, while other stars like Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel, and even Kai Havertz have had stretches of games where they seem to be playing to irritate fans, even becoming a problem for Arteta, causing sleepless nights. This is why Arsenal lacks the star players who can make decisive moments happen, like Manchester City, Bayern Munich, or Liverpool. A big club is one that has clear, decisive goals from the start of the season, and the team must follow through rigorously. Sadly, Arsenal hasn't met this basic requirement. Remember that Arsenal never listed winning the Champions League as a goal this season, nor did they demand Mikel Arteta put all his efforts into this competition. The priority was the Premier League, the trophy they lost to Manchester City. But things started to go off track when Arsenal had to allocate more resources to the Champions League without a detailed plan for managing two competitions, leading to player burnout. Noticeably, Arsenal's optimal performance should be around this time, but due to their overcommitment in the Champions League, players peaked too early, ultimately leading to Arsenal letting go of their second shot at the title this season. Lastly, Arsenal lacks experience. Many thought Arsenal had accumulated enough hard-earned experience with Arteta's leadership after years of disappointment. But take a look at Liverpool. Klopp took longer to rebuild the team into a top English football power. Even Manchester City, living in the shadow of their neighbors for so long, had to fight hard to reach their current status. Especially in the Champions League, Guardiola's team once seemed hopeless in winning it, but after numerous setbacks, they succeeded last season. Arteta's revolution hasn't matured enough for success. History has shown that rapid revolutions often lead to quick collapses. Arsenal needs more time for Arteta to finish his strategy to turn the Gunners into a genuine big club. The risk of ending this season without a trophy once again reveals to fans that Arsenal is still a young team in age and playing style. They're not mature enough, lack time to gain experience, and lack the characteristics of a truly big club. Especially, they need more time to cultivate the game composure their young stars require. Clearly, Mikel Arteta needs more time to build something significant. The Spanish strategist must transform Arsenal into a big club before they aim to become a title-hunting team.